Hey, let's talk about games. Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another video with me, Hydra, talking about Wrath and Glory. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a speculation video talking about some observations I've made about character roundness, character versatility within these games. Now, by these games, I mean I have been watching every campaign I can find. I've been watching Ross Watson, I believe is his full name. Apologies if I got that wrong. DMGM, a bunch of YouTube videos, a bunch of sort of trial teaser sessions with people, and examining and looking at the supplement rulebook as well as the character sheets over on the side here. And I think there are some very firm conclusions that we can start to make about this game. Firstly, I'd like to draw attention to the fact that 3 attributes seem to govern the majority of your character's tools in terms of, let's say, narrative exploration or investigation. Let's go into some detail with this. So if we look at Fellowship over here, we can see that Fellowship will govern cunning, it will do deception, it will do insight, and it will also do persuasion. Straight away, if you spec into this, let's say you go for 5, which seems to be the maximum for a tier 3 game. Might not be, but that seems to be the most we've got given on these character sheets. That means you're going to have 5 dice for pretty much any social task straight away before you invest into anything. So anything social, you're going to have enough dice to do a basic task. Likewise with intelligence, that's going to cover Medicaid, it's going to cover tech, it's going to do sort of information investigation type stuff, which is sort of gathering clues, and it's going to basically be the intelligent character. Now, I already want to make a distinction between this and Dark Heresy 2, which is the only other RPG which I have experience with. I am a bit of a noob, I'm sorry. But what I can say straight away is that the amount of attributes it takes to invest into this sort of quantity of versatility within Dark Heresy is pretty rough. If you invested into this many things within Dark Heresy, 2nd edition, that's pretty much 5/7 of your character already done. You can, of course, just have one of the attributes and spec in via other ways. It'll be quite expensive, take a while to do, but it's far more difficult to make this much of a rounded character within Dark Heresy. Or at least it's going to take you a lot longer to have the amount of experience to do this. Even with a starting character, to create someone this versatile day 1 to begin with in a campaign would be very, very tough. And this is just from one attribute. Then we factor in the fact that all of these characters over here, this is Sergeant Gale Harden, all of them seem to have stats ranging from 3 to 5, which is a fairly narrow range and a difference of 2 dice, something that could probably be mitigated for by investing into the skills. So if you've only got 3 willpower, but you want to be quite good at survival, you could just go for a 4 or a 5 in survival and you get the total of 8 dice. So that's still going to be enough to do moderate to fairly tough challenges. Obviously impossible tasks will still be impossible because you're not going to be a pro at it, but it will mean your character is quite competent. And then of course you've got the glory dice and other mechanics too. So straight away, there seems to be a system that seems to be designed and revolving around creating not only character archetypes, so if you want your character to be generally more intelligent, or generally more sociable, or generally a little bit tougher, you've got that sort of baseline to start with as to what type of personality out of those 3 really are you going to lean towards. And then, well, obviously you can be a combination of 2, you can be any number of them, and you could probably excel at all 3 of those at the expense of other things like initiative for combat, I would imagine. Don't know, don't have the full rulebook, but it certainly seems that way. And then you can take the skills and then get even better, even more better at those things, which to me looks like a really, really different system to Dark Heresy, where it's very easy to specialize in something within Dark Heresy. 2nd edition, again, that's what I'm talking about because it's the only one I've played. It's very easy to specialize in something if you've got the right attributes. If you don't, you're kind of Donald Ducked and you might have to play a couple of sessions just to become remotely competent in something. And now, what I'd love to know is that this is a very, very different system, and I'd like to know, do you guys feel that actually the versatility of a character over here, being able to do so many basic tasks, is that a good or a bad thing? Now, for me personally, I feel like it's a good thing because I always had a very big gripe when I had no skill points invested in something within Dark Heresy, and you got a -20 to the roll when all you were trying to do was ask for directions, but because you're not very good at inquiry, you had a -20, whereas this, you don't get a penalty to start off with, which I feel is more welcoming, let's say. But at the same time, you're going to end up with a character that doesn't have these sort of niches, so I'm really, really curious. By the sounds of it, from the interviews, character character creation within this seems to be a case of you pick your race, you pick your archetype, of which there's 32. Looks like there's 31 now from the preview, but there's quite a few. Let's say you go for Crusader. We know from some of the leaked images that you're going to need 3 willpower for that, so you make sure you got your 3 willpower, then you can be a Crusader, and the rest of the points, it seems from the interviews, can be spent wherever the hell you like. So you could put them all into willpower to make it really high, or you could then spread them out fairly evenly, but it does look like there's possibly a max threshold, so you can't go sort of too ham. And that's basically, it seems to be the way of this game, is keep everything, instead of being a really wide range of capability, to narrow it down, and then to still allow you to specialize within that, but just again within a smaller range. Guys, I'd love to know down in the comments what you think of this system. I mean, you guys may have played more RPGs than me. Is this the way of RPGs in 2018? Is this how you appeal to the masses? Is this simply just more welcoming to players? Do you like the specialism from Dark Heresy? Do you like the versatility that this affords? Now, me personally, just my view, I've always been frustrated that I've never been able to make the character I wanted within the Fantasy Flight series of Dark Heresy, because I always had a vision of someone sort of very perceptive, very good at scrutiny, very good at a few different things relating to the sort of the type of character they were and the history. Not overpowered, just, you know, their particular tool set, and I was never able to do it or be proficient at it. Because of the aptitude system, which basically said, okay, well, if you do want to be that, then you've got to be a 40k doctor. That's the only way to do it. That's got to be your background. And that I didn't like, kind of being told what my background world, sort of background occupation had to have been in order to get to the point where I'm a social character. Like, can I not be a social RBTs? Probably not, maybe that's canon, I don't know. Guys, hope you've enjoyed the video, just a little bit of speculation and observation today. Hopefully we get some more stuff to talk about soon, and I'll tell you what, I'd absolutely love, in the days before release, if they're happy going through like a character creation session, just to show us the creation of making a character. Bring me up 3 or 4 slides of how they made Sergeant Gale Harden. I just love to see this in action. Guys, you look after yourselves. Rulebook coming out fairly soon, so we will be starting the campaign not too far away. We've decided to scrap Dark Heresy in the meantime because and not broadcast. It's just going to be too confusing, changing systems, not only for dice reasons, but in terms of core workings. Dark Heresy is just a very, very different ball game. It's more about being private eyes, I would say, whereas Wrath and Glory looks more about being the freaking police squad. Again, that's only from the supplement they've given thus far, but very, very different games. Guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Feel free to like, dislike, subscribe, all of that stuff. I'll see you next time. Take care.